Hi and welcome to the channel where we are storytelling and role-playing in Crusader Kings 3. This is my House Korp series, and here is King Askel, who is the head of our house and the Kingdom of Sweden. This is a role-playing, which means that I'm basing my decisions on my character's traits and the personality I mold for him in the storytelling parts. The storytelling parts are also important to tell us where to go and what to conquer and all this stuff, because this is not about being a great CK3 player. This is about telling a story and immersing ourselves in the characters and the events. So we will not go out and conquer the whole world unless we get a character with a personality and a story surrounding him that tells us to do this. However, we have recently conquered England, and in the storytelling this is a part of a religious conflict or a clash of ideas, where the Norse people of the Asa faith up in the north here were clashing with the Christians down south, and it looks like we are coming up on top. Our Norse holy site, the Temple of Jorvik here, it's right here. Holy site of Jorvik. It has recently fallen to the Christian king of the Kingdom of Alba. So we want it back. We want to control our own temple. Maybe they are threatening to burn it down or destroy it, these Christians. So since our army, they are stood down at the moment, but we were recently here in England, so all our forces should be around in the story, ready to go and conquer Alba. So that's what we're gonna do today. Let's not waste any more time. I've got a lot of CBs here. Holy Wars are often... I really don't like this CB because the wars often get too big to manage, because neighboring rulers of the same faith as the person you're attacking might join him in defense of their faith. So they can be useful for sure, but the straight up conquer duchy conquest is safer and better in this case. So we want to conquer Duchy of York. York is Jorvik in Norse language, and that's what we want. We have plenty of prestige, so the prestige cost here isn't that much of a problem. Declare this war. And maybe to make it go a bit faster, I can call on my ally here. It will cost me 150 prestige, but I have a lot of prestige now, so it's worth it. He has got a strong force, and we could take them on our own, but this will just make it a bit easier. Jarl Sörkvir of House Eveling will attack from the north, and we will attack from the south, and with our combined forces Alba will not stand a chance here. Unless something unexpected happens, he can score himself a strong ally maybe, but let's hope that he doesn't. And let's rally our army close by here somewhere. Let's raise all armies. Here comes someone to my court to pay me homage. It is Prince Cedric of House Wessex. He is, I think he might be the former king of England. No, he's a relative of the former king of England, and now a vassal in our new English holdings here. Well, show him in. He would pay me some gold here, and he is taking the knee. Cedric. He kneels in deference as attendants bring forth his gift of coin and precious objects. The oath is taken, and scribes record his pledge to serve the Kingdom of Sweden. At last I bid the Duke arise, confirming my satisfaction and Cedric's right to the lands he rules in my stead. So I gain some court grandeur and renown and gold and prestige, and he also gains prestige from this. So he has... it seems like he has accepted that he's now a vassal, one of our vassals, and wants to make the best of it under our rule. And here is my ward, a distant relative, Vemundur. He is the son of Edla, who is the daughter of this princess of Bohemia, who was, she was Gerdr's daughter, and she was married to Sigmund here, who for a short time was the king of Bohemia, and he had a matrilineal marriage with Gerdr. But I've taken this boy in as a ward of mine, and here we have an event regarding his upbringing. Starkadr, this is my son and heir, and my realm priest, Riksgårdi. He is gregarious, content, and arbitrary, this heir here. There are some, in the previous episodes, there's been some discussion regarding his position as heir, but as it stands now, Askell is voting for him in the Scandinavian elective system as his next heir. And he brought Vemund to the market. Vemund was to hand out alms to the poor and needy, to learn about charity and the ruler's plight to the less fortunate. The charming child gave something to everyone, Starkadr says, and when the purse ran dry, he insisted that we'd go get another, very selfless, maybe even excessively so. It seems that little Vemund has a very big heart. So Starkadr is the one who went with Vemund to the market, and Vemund was charitable to less fortunate people. This can make him generous. This is about the generous trait, right? And I think that Starkadr here, my heir, might like this because he's gregarious. Gregarious doesn't necessarily mean generous, but it means that he has a positive inclination towards others. But it's not him deciding this, it is Askell. And Askell, he's vengeful, shy, and cynical. So there's nothing here directly that would guide me towards his choice, but so he can approve of this, and Vemund will keep the trait generous. I can give Vemund the trait fickle instead, by saying you must always consider your choices carefully, constantly. Or I can say, bah, those poor sods are all beneath you, and make him arrogant. Well, Askell, he would lean towards one of the two first options. I, the player, I often like when my characters are what I consider nice people, so it's nice to be charitable. So I'd like this, but I haven't really played King. I haven't really played Askell in this way. I think he would lean more towards you must always consider your choices carefully, constantly. With this, I take into consideration that he is shy, so he's not the people's person, and he's also cynical, which means that he would tend to act in a way that he deems beneficial, not necessarily egoistic, but beneficial for everyone in a kind of utilitarian way. I think that's how I interpret his personality as it stands now. So I will go with this. You must always consider your choices carefully, constantly. Fickle is an alright trait. It's not the best, but it's an okay trait, and I think it's fitting here. He will not say that it is wrong to be charitable and give to the poor, but he will also tell Vemund that there might be some situations where this is not the right way to go. Right, and here is my ally joining this war. That is great, and my armies are gathering and should soon be ready to go here. Right, so I disbanded some levies and I'm sending a siege army. I couldn't find my daughter Gyda. She's a siege commander. She is probably busy ruling her own lands down here. I couldn't find her, so let's send this siege commander up here. I don't see Alba coming to challenge us anytime soon, so let's try and get some more sieges going. The new perk for my learning lifestyle, and I can now get the scholar trait. Right, it's a good trait. Yeah, let's have it. And maybe I should now take this opportunity to switch because I'm thinking that because Askell he's really a reformer. He is an astute intellectual, and he's been to the Varangian Guard and seen the world, so he thinks of himself as someone who will bring our kingdom into the future, and a part of that might be to make our society adopt feudalism. We could do it now, but I think we need some more money, some more resources before we shall consider this. So maybe this will mean that he now will focus on stewardship, on the domain focus, I think. Yeah, let's do this. This way we can start looking into becoming an architect and earning more money and be better prepared if and when we take the decision to become a feudal society. So we got a lot of sieges going on here, and it doesn't look like Alba is able to mount any kind of defense, and it is as expected this far that this is the case. If nothing unexpected happens, this will be an easy win for us here. But here comes a son, Emundur. Oh no, he's not. He's also my friend, so he's my favorite son. And here now has typhus. This is really bad news for Askell. Poor Emundur. The future is uncertain. Death lingers closely by his bedside, yet he might survive. Only the Norse knows. And here's Torun, my court physician. She is decent at her job at least, so maybe she can do something here. Typhus is a serious disease, and I think Askell here, he trusts Torun. She's a court tutor, court physician, and she has also been closely involved in the work to reform our fate, which happened a couple of episodes back. So I think he will go for drastic measures here. Might be a success or might have disastrous outcome. This is what we're going for. And she succeeded. He gained greatly reduced disease symptoms. He still has typhus, which is very bad disease, of course, but maybe he can survive this. A nose for profit. This is an event with my new stewardship lifestyle, I think. Here stands I, King Askell, and here is also Rikissa of Raumariki, who is a wanderer, and my Countess Asta, who is my steward, is also involved in this. While out on a leisurely stroll, the cry of a particular merchant stands out from the regular hustle and bustle of the street. Greetings, my lord, I have an exquisite assortment of wares, if my lord has the coins. As I peer at the myriad of goods in the stall, I can hear Countess Asta murmur, the etchings on that piece must be real, and quite valuable too. She glances at me with a triumphant smile. I can try to buy a cheap trinket, which might give me stewardship lifestyle experience or just lose me gold, bargaining with this merchant here. Or I can say I believe this piece will be a more lucrative choice. This is available because of my stewardship skill, which is significant. Excellent steward, actually. Or I can trust the expertise of Asta, or let us move on. Well, since he has a high stewardship skill and recently has taken an interest in stewardship, maybe this is the way to go. But at the same time, Asta here she's an even better steward, and she's also Askell here. He appointed her steward when the same day he ascended to the throne. And there is great house between our house and House Troll here. They are first vassal house in this series from one of our earliest episodes. So I think that he will go for the expertise of steward. And it's a successful haggle. I gained lifestyle experience for this. Great. Thank you for the advice, Chiefess Asta. And I received a trinket. The lucky Nordsjö coin. Was this from the event, I think. A Nordsjö coin native to Lödöse. The once imprinted surface is now smooth due to the incessant thumbing and twiddling. It will give me stewardship if I'm stressed, better domain taxes, and monthly stewardship lifestyle experience. I should be able to equip this trinket here. Now I've got full inventory of items here. At some point I will take a look if there are some, if I can get some better items from the oldest ones. We have a history with them, but maybe not so much this Platyhara scale armor here, for instance. Maybe we could get something better, but I will take a look at this at a later day. Here's a new event. It's with my queen and my concubine Ingfrida. What's a girl to do? As I enter the room, I notice my wife, Queen Tuaria, acting distant and aloof. I walk over to her and put a hand on her shoulder. What's the matter? I ask. She looks at me for a moment, then sighs heavily. It's this place. It's just so understimulating. Her shoulders heave in a shrug. I just don't know what to do with myself. I don't know just what to do with myself. I just don't know what to do with myself. Going to the movies only makes me sad. Make me feel as glad when I'm not with you. I just don't know what to do. Like a summer rose needs the sun and rain. Maybe Queen Tuaria bursted out in this beautiful song. Maybe not, but but I did, and I apologize for that. So, she's bored. She's just shy and trusting woman. Well, I can certainly sympathize with this feeling of boredom and understimulation, and so can the king, I think. Even though this, as of yet, isn't a love story, he appreciates and likes his wife and queen. So I can try to socialize a bit, or I can say a new skill always refreshes my mood, and try to learn her some intrigue. Or I can say, frankly, I have more important matters to tend to. The best it is the best chance of a positive outcome with this first one, but saying that we should socialize isn't really in his shy person. He's not necessarily shy towards his queen, because they have kind of a lot of children together, so they should know each other intimately. Let's not get too much into that, but I think that he's more inclined to try to bond with her by seeing if he can learn her a few things about intrigue, even though he's not the best at intrigue himself. Maybe they can learn from each other. Yeah. So what happened? Yeah, she got, unfortunately, Queen Tuaria here, she got failed student, so she lost learning and got stress gain. That's not good. And here's an empty council position. Oh, it's my marshal who has died. No, that's not good. I think it was this Vagn here of Östergötland. He was this great martial man who my father gave these lands to as a reward. He was a commoner, but kind of a war hero of the people, defending them from raiders. So he made him a chief of House Korp here, and also gave him this county of Östergötland, which I'm sure wasn't appreciated by the then Jarl of Östergötland. He was not of this house Borg, but of another house who it looks like they're not even around anymore, this house who once ruled Östergötland. Now let's see what my former Marshal Vagn's daughter, Shifter Sigrid here, can be able to do. And let's see who shall be our new marshal. Yeah, I see an obvious choice right away here. These three here are demanding a position because they are strong vassals and they are decent martial characters. But right away here's my daughter, my third born, Gyda. She is this shield maiden who is a siege commander, and she has a great martial skill. She is sadistic, patient and ambitious, so she she's definitely someone who will get ahead in this world, although I wouldn't personally want to know her in real life, but I think she's developing into a fun character here, Countess Gyda, the fearless planner, and she shall be my marshal. Here you go, Gyda. Right, good. And let's get our war going here. Here she is now, Gyda. She has resumed command of this force here. No! Outliving a child. It's Countess Ileana. She has been murdered. Oh Odin, how could you do this to Ileana? If I have sinned, why did you not punish me instead? She was blameless, my perfect daughter. Life had so much in store for her. So this is King Askel's firstborn daughter. She was a deceitful, impatient and arrogant woman whom we in the last episode made the Count of Frisia, because we had lands that we had to over domain holding after the conquest of England. Now she is murdered. Maybe it's one of her siblings. Maybe it is it's Gyda here, this sadistic, patient and ambitious daughter who has murdered her sister because she wants to place herself in a better position when it's time for the inheritance. Maybe her next target will be Starkadr here, my son, an heir. This is just a speculation. It says here she died under mysterious circumstances, so this is just me, the player, speculating. I don't know exactly. Maybe Askel, he is a smart man, maybe he suspects this as well. And maybe this is the case, and maybe it's someone completely different. I really don't know, but suspecting Gyda is not too far-fetched, I think. So now it is my grandson here, Count Bui, Ileana's son of Frisia. So we will leave him as Count of Frisia then, and see if he can, this 1-year-old can manage to make something of Ileana's line. See if they will go down in our history as a branch of House Korp that survives or not. But sad day for the king, his firstborn daughter murdered, and the prime suspect, his other daughter. Here's a son who learned the Anglic language, good for you. Can he study some other language? Yeah, Dutch is good, we have a lot of Dutch holdings. And let's keep marching north while sieging here and see if we can get on the capital there of Alba's capital. My son Emundul has recovered from typhus. This is great news and a relief for the king. He just lost his daughter, losing a son this shortly afterwards. Sure would have been a hard hit on his mental health. And we will also try to remember that we owe our court physician Thorun for her great skill. So it looks like, because Alba was in a lot of wars when we declared this war on them, and it looks like they just made peace with some of their enemies, or at least their lands up here are no longer siege. They're still in a lot of wars, and looks like they're losing them all. They have some forces here, but nothing I really can see being a threat to us. Maybe it's just if I get too sloppy and I let them pick off one of my smaller armies standing around sieging, but I'll have to keep an eye on this. And here's my tuition of Edmundul at an end. This is the one that just recovered from typhus, and he became an astute intellectual. This was what looked like a disastrous episode for Edmundul, and in extent the king turned out good for him as well. This is a good education trait. He became just, trusting and ambitious. So Starkadr King Askel is probably satisfied with how his son's education came out. Great. And maybe now we can find him someone to marry. Yeah, we have a long history with House Sigurdur. They were, for a very long time, they were the royal house of Denmark, and for a very long time they were trusted friends, and a lot of intermarrying with them. The relationship broke down, and we subjugated House Sigurdur. But maybe there, for most parts in history, there really has been friendship between our houses, and maybe now it is time to rebuild the relation by marrying my son to this Torun Sturkasdottir of Sigurdur. She has some claims here, but none of her parents are alive, and she holds no land. But it's Sigurdur is a respected house, and also I always like those congenital traits. So let's get this marriage going. They are related. We are by now probably related with most Sigurdurs, maybe all of them, but it's a very distant relative. Her mother is my cousin, so they are not even cousins. They're like, there's a name for this. If you grew up in the countryside, you might know the name for the name for a relative that's farther away than cousin, but but I can't recall what this name is. So let's get that marriage going. A lot of worse things has happened in the history of European royalty, for sure. My concubine Gerberga Carling is pregnant. Yeah, I made her my concubine in the last episode because it's always fun to knock up a Carling and see if we can do something with their claims. And we had a lot of fun storytelling with a former Carling, the Queen Giselle. Speaking of which, I always like to check on how it's going for our house down here. These are the descendants of Giselle. We once he was King Balder here. He was the king of Aquitaine, but he held on to it while my current character's father was his ally and helped him in all his wars. But as soon as we left him to his own devices, he lost all his lands. So now it's Skarpeden here, the Count of Montpellier, who is our best hope down here. He still has claims to the kingdom and such, so we will for now leave him to see what he can do with his own position as an AI, but we are keeping our eye on the line of Giselle here. There she is, Giselle, father of King Balder. Maybe this new Carling concubine can be something equally entertaining in our storytelling going forward. But right, I really wished I had time to wrap this war up quickly and end the episode with a victory, but fortunately that is not the case, because now I have to quit playing for today. So this means that the episode will end. Consider subscribing if you want to encourage me to keep on telling this saga. I hope I will see you in the next episode. Thank you for watching this one, and goodbye.